there's a lot of confusion about what's the difference between a methodology and a process. And the reality is that those two are very different, but they're also work hand in glove as well. So what you see in the industry in terms of traditional sales training is methodologies, things like MEDDICC, which stands for MEDDICC. So the first M stands for metrics, and the second the E stands for making sure that you know who the economic buyer is. The D stands for the decision process, et cetera, et cetera. So there's 7 kind of key components that you have to really think about. So you get trained on MEDDICC, and then you go back to your sales process, and you're wondering, well, where do those 7 components fit in? Do they fit in up front? Do they fit in the middle? Do they fit everywhere? How does that work, right? Same thing with Sandler. Sandler does a really great job on, especially like things like pain point identification. And so the question is, but then how do you integrate that into the process? How does that deal with the way that you qualify a deal? How do you then build solutions to address those pains? They don't talk about any of those things. So, so what happens is they address 1 or 2 individual aspects of a sales process, but then it's left to the organization, the company, to be able to fit that methodology into what they're doing as a sales process. And then the other thing is that they tend to be siloed. So like you go to MEDDICC training, right? Or you go to Sandler training, or you go to Challenger training, and you just sort of learn about that. So when we were first working with some of our early customers, what we found is there are actually cool components of all of them that are really applicable. You can put all those different pieces together. And so what you can do is, instead of just kind of leveraging one, you can take the best practices from each one of them and integrate that into an end-to-end marketing and sales process. So that's really what we did, is we put that all together into a process. So when people say, well, shared vision selling isn't appropriate for us because we're already using MEDDICC or we're already using Sandler, my response is, well, we need to chat further. You may be right, but this is all built on those. This has a lot of those concepts already embedded into an end-to-end process. And what this might do is take what you have and connect all the dots for you in a really fast way, versus you having to do it yourself and distract yourself from the sales process, or bring somebody in who's going to do it in a custom way, and it's super expensive, time-consuming, very disruptive to your organization. So that's really the difference in what we see and what we bring to the table.